When it comes to the living sector, student housing, or purpose-built student accommodation with its PBSA acronym, sits at the top of the class for investors right now. Sitting in the alternative living category, its popularity and investment tailwinds almost make the alternative adjective a misnomer, with PBSA a thriving sector in itself in Europe. Investment activity and research across the real asset sector support this claim. For example, a recent report from Hines showed that investments in PBSA increased sharply from 1.9% of total European investment activity in 2019 to 5.3% in 2024. Last year, Savills, in collaboration with the Class Foundation, predicted that the European PBSA sector could see 70% growth in the next 2 to 5 years. And its most recent research showed that PBSA is the most popular operational real estate proposition among real estate investors. And PATRIZIA responded to client and investor demand to gain more granular and city-level insights by publishing its inaugural Student City Index last month.
Student housing is becoming a cornerstone asset class within a diversified living portfolio. What we have seen over the past few years with the increase of urbanization and student numbers is making a very compelling case to include PBSA within a living portfolio.
Having established that European PBSA is highly attractive for investors, it's important to understand why. At its simplest, it's a case of huge undersupply versus a growing demand for high-quality student housing. On the demand side, much of this is driven by a growing number of international students seeking to study in Europe. They join a domestic student base, seeing only moderate growth in numbers and often choosing to study more locally to save on money. Those students who relocate for university often want high-quality accommodation options, but are priced out and only able to access a small PBSA market. The provision rate in the likes of Germany, Italy and Spain for purpose-built student accommodation is well below 10%. Spotting an opportunity to boost supply in underserved markets, PATRIZIA is introducing a pan-European living strategy which aims to create a portfolio of student assets across several European cities. The countries in focus include the UK, Germany and Italy.
Student housing plays a fundamental part within our value-add strategy. As of today, we are in deep conversation with developers and contractors to develop best-in-class student portfolios.
And PATRIZIA is no stranger to the sector with around 5,000 student units in its portfolio, spread across several European countries. In 2022 alone, PATRIZIA invested €550 million on behalf of its investors into creating a portfolio of 2,800 PBSA beds in Denmark, Ireland, Italy and Spain. The portfolio includes 635 units spread across 2 buildings in central Barcelona. The 2 buildings underwent a total refurbishment in 2017. Now they are home to top amenities, including a gym, a lounge, meeting rooms, and rooftop swimming pools. The acquisitions are particularly valuable considering how difficult it is to find assets in the centre of the Catalonian capital, which boasts a vibrant international student population and each year attracts more and more young people. In recent years, Barcelona's local authority has chosen to largely limit student housing development to the outskirts of Barcelona.
The student housing asset that we bought in Barcelona is very unique. First of all, the location is in the heart of Barcelona, which is very hard to find these days. And since we bought it, we managed to push rents by 30% and increase the occupancy from 81% to 93% annualized.
In Italy, PATRIZIA invested €70 million in the forward purchase of a PBSA scheme in Turin. Turin is home to Italy's 4th largest student population with more than 100,000 full-time students. However, the city suffers from a severe lack of student accommodation, with just 1 bed for every 16 students, which equates to a PBSA provision rate of just 6.5%.
We performed very well in completing the project, in letting the project to a primary international operator in just 18 months from the date of acquisition. The student housing accounts for 580 beds, and it's full of the most modern amenities, and we think we have contributed to increase the quality of the offers of beds for the University of Turin and for the Politecnico of Turin.
Italy is just one of the countries in the sights of PATRIZIA's future PBSA investment activity.
Italy is one of the most important markets in Europe with 1.9 million of students, and there are today only 68,000 beds, with a pipeline of 23,000 beds by 2026 to 2027. We think that this lack of available beds for students, it's really an interesting opportunity for our clients, our investors, that can create a long-term value investing in this sector.
PBSA is the asset class that gives you the edge within a diversified living portfolio. Today we're concentrating in transactions in Germany, in Italy and the UK, where we believe there is a strong opportunity, and now is the time to exploit it.
Armed with city-focused, granular research, residential knowledge gleaned over more than 4 decades and local expertise on the ground in key European markets, PATRIZIA's PBSA story is entering an exciting new chapter.